Welcome to Cardigan Bay Fishing Adventures. If you're new to the channel, my name is David Barber. This is the NAB 17 boat restoration project. Should have been finished in about a year and it's been going on for 4 years. So yeah, it'll definitely be in the water next year, 2026. I'll say the year, so people can't say which years are. Today, I'm doing something a little bit different. As you would have been watching the videos, the episodes that I've been releasing, I've been sanding flat out. Prepping, filling, sanding and so on. I've had enough of it. I need to make something for my battery switch. My 2 batteries are going on the port side over there, and here I need something to mount the switches on so I can turn the boat on and off. Obviously this is on a slope, the splash well is, and I don't want the switches on a slope, I want them flat. So rather than use something wooden, which is going to rot in time, I'm going to build it out of a fiberglass mould. So I'm going to build basically a box the way I want it out of melamine, and then we're going to make a fiberglass part, which then can be fiberglass to there, and then I can bolt the switches to that. So yeah, today I'm going to be building that and showing you how to do it. Let's crack on. So the first thing I need to do is to get the angle from there to a flat top. So I can't really explain it, it's awkward to explain. The back of the box is going to have an angle like that, but it needs to be flat and flat. The top doesn't need a shelf on it, if that makes any sense, but what we'll do, we use this tool to help us get the angle. So I'll put this on here like this, and then this part, the top, we need to get it level. The boat's level, so well, it's level off the gunnel anyway, it's not level off the keel. So when the boat's sitting flat on the trailer, this will look level. When you're motoring, it won't look level. This doesn't have to be absolutely smack on, but it'd be nice if I can get it fairly close. It is a bit of an awkward thing to do with only 2 hands. Needs to come up a touch. So what I'm going to do, rather than loosen it completely, is just a tiny bit and adjust it. It is an awkward thing to do, to be honest. Too much. So yeah, just get it close. And make sure you're doing it in the same place on here. Smack on. So we need to lock this tight. So that's the angle I need to make that way around, as you can see. So that gives you an idea. It might be a little bit dark on the camera. We're in the back of the shed. There's no other way of doing it really. So we've got our 2 side pieces right there. And that's the panel where we're going to attach the switches. So I've got the glue gun behind me. These parts I'm going to glue onto here with hot glue. They will be screwed, but I'll glue them first. So we'll have these 2 parts here. So then basically, this is the mould. So we'll be fiberglassing inside here. I'm going to leave the bottom open. 2 reasons. The first reason is so I can get up behind it to screw the bolts on, or the nuts, because it'll be bolted on and I can tighten the nuts up. Number 2, it's open. If this was a closed box, it probably could build up condensation over time and stuff, and there's no need for it to be closed. I'm going to try and do this so you can see exactly what I'm doing. There's a glue gun, just a cheap Loctite one. Put a bead of glue down this back edge. With this part, it doesn't really matter, but what the glue helps with as well is the resin bleeding through. So all I need to do is get this side right. Just hold it for a second, and we'll do the same with this side. So you can see it's just like that. 2 parts like that. And what I'm going to do, just for extra security, stick a little piece across the bottom just to hold it together. just in case them parts want to spread out. This just holds it together better. So that's the part ready now to get it ready to fiberglass. So let's go into the next step. So the next part I need to do, inside these corners, when you squeeze it together, the hot glue splurges out. I don't know if you'll see it on the video. There's a little bit there and a little bit there. So get a Stanley blade, be careful, and literally push it in and literally just chop the glue off to get rid of that bead. Otherwise, it's going to cause you a problem. Like that there. It's just a little tiny bit. The next part, these corners up in here and down there, need to add a slight radius to them. Fiberglass will not go round 90-degree corners, not very easily anyway. What we've got here is a modelling clay. It's just an oven bake one. Most people use fillet-in wax, but this clay works. And I think that was like £4 for the block. So, literally roll it into a sausage. Like that. Nothing special. And we'll lay it into the corner and press it into the corner. I will show you this in a second. So, it'll look something like that in the corners. The next part is a lollipop stick. So, I just get one of those and literally run it along it. So you'll see the difference between both of those sides. That's not done. That one is done. And that does come off. We'll re-glue that in a moment. So you can, I don't know if you'll see very well from there. Keep that at the same angle, don't change it. So when you start pulling it, keep it the same. The only thing you have to watch when you get to the end, it will pull the clay out. That is literally it, look. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera with the light, but it gives you a nice rounded corner. That is literally ready for fiberglass. A lot of people say you have to use a release wax. I'm not putting gel coat or anything in this. It's just going to be fiberglass finish. You could now gel coat this, let it go off, and then fiberglass in it. When it comes out of the part, the front will be a glassy, smooth paint finish. I don't need to do that. You also do not need release wax. Not doing it this way. Maybe with gel coat you do need release wax. I've never done it with gel coat myself. So yeah, we'll make sure there's no lumps or bumps anywhere on this. We'll make sure it's nice and smooth everywhere. And we'll glass it. So what I'm doing now is pre-ripping matting. So I'm putting mat. This is chop strand mat, this one. Get it into the part. And just need to rip it off roughly. And we'll get it to size. Thing is, when you do fiberglass, you need to have everything to hand. You want the matting ready, you want everything ready to go. So if I bring that round to there, I have already done a couple of layers of surface tissue, and we've already got a layer ready here, as you can see. So to make sure it's right, which that is. What you don't want, as you can see, there's a big hangy piece there. If it's too big, once it gets wet with resin, this will flop back, and as it flops back, it'll create an air pocket there. So you want to try and tear it or cut it as close as possible to the shape of what you're building, because these bits won't flop over and it won't bulge out then. So at the moment we've got 2 tissue down there and we've got 2 chop strand up here. What we'll do is 6 layers to start with. 6 layers might be enough for this part because I'm going to be fiberglassing to the boat as well. So this is woven. This is a structural glass. So we're going to lay this basically through there like that, up both sides. Just to give it a bit more strength. This part doesn't really need much strength, to be honest. It's only going to be housing switches, but it's just in case someone may bump into it with a leg or just anything. So as you can see, this is just roughly cutting it to shape. It's just to, it'll add a bit of strength from both sides to the back. And I suppose I could put that piece into there like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's just a small part. So I'm going to disregard the surface tissue as layers because they're so thin. So we have over here now, we have 2 chop strand, 1 woven, so we need another 3 layers. So the part's ready for the fiberglass. I've cleaned it all out, made sure it's spot on, which it is. Now we're going to mix up some resin. What I'm using is polyester laminating resin. It's what I've used for the whole boat. The reason I'm using laminating, if you want to, you can fiberglass straight back over it the next day. I mix this by weight. I'm probably going to mix up 300 or 400 grams of resin for this, and that should be enough. We'll see now. All the resin I use is from MB Fiberglass. I'm not sponsored by them, nothing like that. I pay for everything myself, but it's just good quality stuff. And delivery spot on as well. This tub, I've shook it really well just off camera. You'll probably see it's bubbled up and stuff. Take that off because it ends up falling inside your resin. So we're at 73 grams. It's 200. I'm going to go to 500. There we go. So this is a 500 gram mix. The catalyst, it should be catalysed at 1 or 2%. If I do 1%, it's 5 grams. If I do 2%, it's 10 grams. With this mix, I'm going to do 10 grams. And then I'm going to put this part out in the sun to bake because I want to try and get this fitted to the boat today. So I'll zero the scales out, which I just have. And I'm going to add 8 to 10 grams of catalyst. That's 9 grams. It's just gone 9-10 grams. Now this, I'd say, is mixed hot, meaning you don't have long to work with it. Today's probably about 17 degrees, but I'm working out of direct sunlight, so it does give you a bit more time. They say you want to mix this now for 2 minutes, but the good thing is with this, it changes colour. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. When you start to mix it, it goes from the blue to a greeny colour, which helps because it lets you know it's mixed well. That is mixed enough. Right there, it's got a green colour to it. We'll get over to the part and we'll start fiberglassing. So what I'm going to start off with doing is resin in the mould. Give it a nice coat of resin everywhere, gently, because you will damage the radius on your clay. So that's got a good soak of resin. I'm using surface tissue. I don't normally use it, to be honest, in a mould. This is the first time. The reason why, it helps with print through. So what you want to do is basically give it a good wet through with resin. Make sure you've got no air pockets in there. I am oversaturating this, but it's not a problem because there's going to be a lot more layers of glass on top. And obviously it's easier to turn this part to keep it flat. So that is the first layer. Get the second layer in. Surface tissue is a bit fiddly to work with, but it is a good matting to use. And it wets out very easily. You can see it's pulling the sides down, so you just got to be careful. Make sure it's tapped well into that corner. Get rid of any air. I am trying to do it so you can see what I'm doing on the camera. We'll put in a layer of chop strand. This will take a lot more resin now. It's actually a bit of a fiddly part to make because it's quite small, but we'll get there. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing on camera. Yeah, what the surface tissue does, it helps to stop print through. Print through meaning the texture from this chop strand on the other side. But I'm not going to count the tissue as a layer because it's so thin. But you don't want to go more than 6 layers because if you do, you'll get a thermal reaction and it could crack the glass. So if you look on there, I've got a straight edge on that side. Makes it a bit easier to line it up when you're pouring it in. Just like that. Just be careful that this is not pulling the sides down. Try and keep the sides off until you're ready to put them on. Now we're at this stage, I'm going to roll it because we've got a couple of layers in. Trying to make sure there's no bubbles in there. We're using a consolidation roller like that. Trying to make sure that corner's nice. Push out any excess resin in the bottom layers. Get it nice and flat. You would be better with a smaller roller, but I don't have one, unfortunately. I'm not being heavy-handed with this, I'm just literally tapping it into that corner. Roll the sides. That's good. So I'm going to do one more layer of chop strand and then we're going to go in with the woven. Yeah, while this moulded part's going off, we'll get on with something else. Get the woven in. The woven wets out easily as well. It's nice to use. And this is the structural part of the glass. The chop strand, I class it as a filler. It's not really super strong, not like the woven is. The woven will add a lot of strength to this part. Now give it a very good roll because this is the last layer. So that's it. That's the moulded part in there. We'll take this and put it in the sun because the UV rays will help it go off quicker. and we'll leave it there to cook, basically. So while that molded part is going off, what I need to do is measure the center. So I'm just going to measure from here to here, mark a center line here, transfer it down there, then I have to flap disc that area, get rid of all the paint and get it back to a nice surface to fiberglass. So we'll get this measured now. Doesn't need to be absolutely dead on, but the closer the better. $144.5, which is, I think it's 72.25. 72.25. So if we'll just call it 72.2. I will double check it in a minute. But 72.2. That's roughly the center from what I can gather. Yep, 72. Yeah. So roughly, it doesn't need to be bang on, but that's roughly the center. It just so I know where I need to grind. We'll get it leveled up after. So I'm going to grind out there to there. Grind that area out now with a flap disc. Get it back, get rid of all this paint and get it back to bare fiberglass. This is the part I hate the most. Let's get on. Just want to add, when you're grinding fiberglass, a mask is essential. This is a proper respirator. Huge filters on it, these filter everything. Gloves, long sleeves, try and cover as much skin as possible and you'll have less problems with it itching, which I found out the hard way. Now that's done, get the hoover and get rid of as much dust off the floor as possible. So that area is now ready to be acetoned and it's ready to fiberglass onto. This is what you want, back down to the raw fiberglass. If you do it on top of paint, it's not going to stick properly. It may seem fine for a few months, it may seem fine for a year or two, but it will eventually start to come away. So make sure you prep the areas properly. Back to raw fiberglass, you'll get proper adhesion and it ain't gonna come off as long as you do it properly and follow the right steps. This needs to be really cleaned really well with acetone now. Scrub it, get rid of any oils, greases, dust, anything, any rubbish, and then you got the best chances of it sticking for good. Now we're gonna give it a clean with acetone, as you can see there. You should wear a mask with this. The only reason I've not put a mask on is so I can still talk to you. A good soak in acetone and then give it a good scrub. I'm going to turn this cloth and do it again. One pass is more than enough, but just to be sure. That is clean and ready for the part, which I've just been to check and it's pretty much done. It's still got a lot of heat in it, so it's still going off. Going to get a multi-tool and trim it up with that blade there. So we can trim the part up in the mould, so when I pull it out, it's the shape I need it. So let's get onto that now. This should be ready to come out the mould now. I'll be honest, it's a little bit premature, but it is hard. So I'm going to start trying to split it apart. Got a flat blade screwdriver and just find somewhere to get it in. and pop it out. I'm just hoping it's not too early. It's looking good. That's the side panel there. So just be very careful trying to get the screwdriver in somewhere, because you will break the glass on the edges. And when it's stuck on, it's like now it's like really stuck on. It can take a bit to get in to get it to come off. So just be careful. There we go. And because I haven't screwed it, look, the side panel's just come off. This should just knock off now. It should tap off. There we go. That's the part, right there. Looks good. Looks like it's worked well. So the clay on the sides here will just scrape off. So hopefully you can see those there. It's worked really well with the clay on both sides. You can see there. So we'll get this onto the boat now and start trimming it and get ready to glass it to the boat. I know your view's not the best from there, but there's not much I can do. So my plan was that there, like that. It actually fits better than I thought. So with that on there like that, I can mount the switch on there, and then I've got access inside there to get to the bolts at the back. It actually fits spot on. It fits way better than I expected. Doesn't even need de-sorting. It's literally flush. Yep. All I need to work out is the center, and do I want it up there or down there? I think it's going to have to be lower, because I've got the master switch, the on-off switch, and the combined battery switch, and I've also got the BEP relay, which is a split charge relay. So I want them both on here so I can see that it's working. So yeah, we'll get that glassed on there in the center somewhere like that. But that's how you make a molded part. Literally, it's 1:15 now. I started making this around 10:30, so you can see it doesn't take long, and this will never rot, and it's absolutely solid. It's tough. So, and I did pull this out of the mold a little bit premature, to be honest. So what has to be done with this now, I am using laminating resin, like I said, so the inside I could glass on that now again straight away with no issues. But this side, because this was against the melamine wood, it's cut the oxygen off. So this will need roughing up for me to fiberglass on it, because that's set, it's gone off. It's like smooth and glassy, as you can see, right across it. So that will need to be roughened up all around the edges, just so I can glass it to the boat. Let's start getting it ready. And now I've grinded those areas off. You might not be able to see it on the camera very well, but I'm just going to give it a clean with acetone all over. Get rid of any dust or any mess. That will stop it sticking. So I've measured it, got it centered as possible. It could be out by a few mil. No boat is symmetrical, so if I'm measuring from gunnel to gunnel, it might not be centered with the transom at the back. But I've glued it into place with hot glue. I've walked up the boat and had a look back, and it does look centered. Here, I've got a mix of fiberglass filler. Don't know if you can see that there. It's basically silica powder. So you mix the resin with the catalyst, mix it up well, and then you add the dust after and mix it into the desired consistency. So this is going to go down the corners of the switch mount, because you can't fiberglass into corners, like I said earlier. So this is going to give me a radius to fiberglass to. I know you're a little bit far away, but I can't get you any closer, because if I put you in the boat, the camera's all over the place and in the way. I have to be really careful now, because this has only got a little bit of hot glue on it, so it could fall off. I'm hoping it doesn't. So this will go down the sides like this. And what that's going to do is give me a really nice radius to fiberglass to. We are still on the same day. It's now 2. I can't remember what time I said it was last. So I've mixed up 600 grams of resin and I've added 6 grams of catalyst, so it's mixed at 1%. I've got loads of chop strand matting, sections torn ready, there, and I've also got some roven. Around the edges of the roven, I've pulled out the few strands like this. The reason why makes it easier to feather out if you look. So it'll disappear easy, the edges will. If you leave them squared, it's harder to hide it under the glass. So soak the brush. And I'm going to basically soak the area I'm going to be using matte. Need to be gentle because obviously I hot glued this into position and then I've just put a fillet around the edges. That fillet is not going to hold it in place. Another thing to be mindful of, in this situation I'm fine because this has got to be resanded, this deck has, because it's only got 1 layer of glass. In any other situation, cover it in loads of plastic. So get some chop strand matting and we'll start sticking it on. This is one-sided or two-sided. One side, all the strands are nice and flat. The other side, the strands stand up. You want it with the flat side facing out. It's easier to put on. So basically, we'll just start now fiberglassing this part into place. So we'll give this a good roll again. And that is done. That just needs to go off. I'll go over it probably with the 80 grit sandpaper just to get off any of the little splinters of glass sticking out, and it's finished. I'll bring the camera closer by hand just to show you quickly. So the lighting is not great, but I can get you in close like this, so you can see. All up there is nice and done. You can see around it everywhere. I'll trim the bottoms off after. And that's up this side, look. So it'll look nice. It'll look good. It's square. And if I move up the boat, from the back of the boat here, look, it's nice and centered. You can see there. So that's that job complete. It is now 2:45, I think it is. So it's not taken that long. We started that probably around 10ish, was it? Maybe 10:30. And it's complete, it's done. Once it's all gone off, I'll get my switches in place, drill the holes and mock everything up ready for the wiring. We're getting pretty close now. Lots of work's been done on the boat, sanding and prepping. There's lots of videos on the channel of sanding and prep and this boat restoration, but we are getting near the end finally. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you have, please consider subscribing to the channel, drop a like on the video, and I'll see you in the next one.